I absolutely swear by oiling my hair. But if you do it wrong, you could severely damage your hair. The first thing you need to do is use the right oil for your hair type. This is not necessarily focused on hair porosity or your hair curl pattern. It's more about your hair density. So if you have very thin, fine hair, if you have thick hair, you need to know the right oils for your specific hair type. Another more important thing that can even be more important than your hair type is the location of your hair, okay? Some oils are great for your scalp, but they don't really do much for your hair shaft. Some oils are great for your hair shaft, but they don't necessarily do much for your scalp. So you need to find the right location for which oil to get the maximum benefits because you might be using the right oil, but you're using it on the wrong part of your hair. And instead of making your hair better, it's either doing nothing or damaging it. It's also pretty wasteful. So the easiest way to know where to use an oil is just read the instructions. Most oils that are made for your hair shaft may have a few silicones in them, which are not good for sitting on your scalp. That can clog your follicles. Also, they may just be formulated to make your hair look more aesthetically pleasing. So maybe they won't harm your scalp, but it just won't do anything. For example, if you're using the Kerastase Elixir Ultime, which is my favorite hair oil of the moment, or you're using something like the Olaplex oil, that is meant for your hair shaft. You will not get as many benefits as you would get from putting it on your hair if you put it on your scalp. And if you're using something like rosemary oil or you use an oil that contains rosemary oil like the Mael Organics, or maybe, I'm not sure if Wild Growth Oil has it, but there's like Fable and Mane. All those oils are even named like scalp stimulating. So while if you use it on your hair, it's not going to necessarily damage your hair, it's just not going to work as well as using it on your scalp. So maybe that's why you think it doesn't do anything because you're putting it on your hair instead of putting it on your scalp. The second tip is one of my favorite hair oiling tips, and I think more people should utilize this instead of focusing on the one trendy ingredient because there's always going to be an oil that does something great out there. Instead of rushing out and going to Amazon and buying the next greatest thing, go for an oil mix. You will maximize the benefits. And before you start rushing to look for that new oil, look at the oil that you already have. You may already be using that oil. So, my favorite oil mix is usually homemade because it is cheaper, it is my job, and I genuinely like making them, okay? However, if you don't like making your own oils, you don't want to buy a bunch of things, or you think it's too expensive, it's not. You just need to figure out the calculations. However, a lot of people are like, I don't want to have to start Googling how many drops of rosemary should I put per amount of avocado oil. You don't want the decision fatigue of what oil should I use? Should I only use rosemary and tea tree? Should I only use. The best thing is if you don't want to make your own oil mix, just buy one. There are so many out there. And I recommend not only maximizing hair oil mixes for your scalp, but also for your hair shaft. Most oils for the hair shaft are mixed, but a lot of them are mixed with the wrong thing. And by that I mean if you get an oil that says like makes your hair look sleek and shiny, it's just like mineral oil, a bunch of silicones, and like a drop of olive oil, and then they put olive oil on the package, and you're like, wow, olive oil, it makes my hair look so nice, but it's just mineral oil and silicones. Like if you want that, that's fine. But look at the ingredients and look at something like Olaplex. Again, I don't know if I've already mentioned it, but the Kerastase Elixir Ultime is like the perfect oil mix. It has that really nice formula that's kind of like a serum. It really makes your hair look super smooth and shiny. It makes your hair feel soft. It also has camellia oil, amla oil, a whole bunch of other really nourishing oils for your hair shaft. And that is really nice to put on your hair shaft, but it's not really necessarily something for your scalp. But that's an amazing oil mix for your hair shaft. For your scalp, you can go for something like Fable and Mane. You can go for the Mael Organics Rosemary Mint. Now, even though it just says rosemary mint, if you look at the ingredients, there are other oils in there. This is amazing. Look, it's up to here now. I'm on my third month. Maybe I'm heading to my fourth month of using this every single day, and it's only gone to there. So if you look at this, oh, the ingredients are not on the package. The ingredients are on the box. But a lot of other oils, unfortunately, usually really cheap oils, they will write olive oil on the package, and it's like the 20th ingredient, and it's just like a whole bunch of other things and chemicals. So find the right oil. a good high quality oil, but maximize on getting an oil mix so you can get a lot of benefits at once. I see a lot of comments on my channel when I make like an oil mix that has like avocado oil, castor oil, rosemary oil, and peppermint oil, and someone will leave a comment like, rosemary oil is effective enough. You don't need to add peppermint oil. Or someone will say, if you want thicker hair, just use castor oil. You don't need to use anything else. But it's like, why use one when you can maximize the benefits of everything at once instead of going here and there to try them out individually? Unless you are allergic to a single ingredient, but there's a very low chance of you being allergic to an essential oil or a carrier oil. The next thing you can do to ensure that you are getting the best out of your hair growth oils is to always do a scalp massage the right way. If you do a scalp massage the wrong way, you can end up with a lot of damage, a lot of breakage, a lot of unwanted side effects. But scalp massages are amazing because by themselves, they actually help stimulate hair growth and wake up dead follicles because it really stimulates your scalp and increases blood flow to that area. And then some essential oils like peppermint and tea tree and rosemary also do the same thing. So you're like maximizing the benefits and ensuring that your scalp absorbs the oils. And usually, if you do a scalp massage well and you didn't use too much oil, by the end of your scalp massage, it'll almost feel like you had no oil on your scalp and your hands should not look shiny afterwards. Then you know you've done a really effective scalp massage. The way you can know if you're done, if you don't want to time it, usually anywhere from 4 to 10 minutes, anywhere between that range, you can get an effective scalp massage. But if you're like, I don't want to set a timer, how do I just know that I've done enough? Usually, your scalp will start to tingle a little bit, or you'll start to feel your body, especially your face, sort of like heat up. You might even see your cheeks get a little bit pink. You just start to feel like there's like heat rising to your face, like you're just about to break into a sweat. Then you know you've done your job. Not everybody's scalp tingles, but usually everybody kind of gets that heating sensation. Now, here's one thing to note. If you are using a much thicker oil, either thicker than your hair because you have really fine hair, or the oil is just on the thicker side, like something with like castor oil, you want to do your scalp massage before you put the oil on because it might create that feeling of almost like hydro fatigue where your hair is almost like sticky and like overhydrated. It looks sort of like limp. When you're doing that, your hair is going to be in a very fragile state, as if it's like wet and then also weighed down. And then if you're doing a scalp massage and like moving your hair around, especially if you're not gentle on top of that, you could break your hair right from the follicle and cause a lot of damage. So if you want to still get the benefits of doing a scalp massage, just do it before, like for 5 minutes, and then put the oil on your scalp and then just let it sit and don't touch your hair, don't comb it, don't move it around. The next step is do not consistently use too much oil on your hair. This is either using a lot of oil on your actual hair shaft or putting a lot of oil on your scalp. This can clog your follicles, which can actually reduce the rate of your hair growth. Another thing is it can cause extreme dryness because either you can't moisturize your hair anymore because there's too much oil sitting on it, or you may experience dryness because your hair is weighed down with too much oil, so you have to wash it out with way more shampoo than you'd need, and you may have to put shampoo on your actual hair just to get rid of the oil film on top, and then you're going to strip out all your natural oils and it can lead to dryness and breakage. And so you might be wondering, I oil my hair all the time, but now it's feeling so dry, I don't know what's going on. You may be using too much shampoo because you're using too much oil. Now, this is a tip that I absolutely love myself, and this is for length retention. You want to ensure that you are oiling your ends every single day or at least every other day. I have been doing this for 3 months now and my hair has absolutely transformed. Like, I know my hair is in braids right now, but I still oil my ends every single day. And you can see, like, my ends just always look like super curly and hydrated and soft, but the way it feels, it's what's completely different. Like, I don't even know how it works, but all my hair feels amazing just because I oil my ends every single day. My hair shaft, everything, it just feels so smooth. It almost feels like a completely different head of hair. Like, my texture, my moisture levels, everything is altered, and it prevents me from having as many split ends. It is truly amazing. It makes a difference. But the key is, again, you want to use very little. I'm talking 1 to 2 drops for all your ends, for your entire head, because you're only putting oil on about an inch to maybe 2 inches of hair, just the last bit of hair. So if you're keeping up with your trims and you just cut your hair, it's kind of like an open tube, like moisture is just leaking out of the ends of your hair. Or if you have a lot of split ends, which you should cut off, but if you do have split ends that you haven't cut off yet, they are more prone to tangling, creating more single strand knots, and just looking extremely rough and dry and kind of making the rest of your hair look and feel like that. If you oil your ends every single day and make sure that your hair is actually moisturized, okay, it will make a drastic difference. And again, use the right oil. Don't use rosemary oil on your ends. Your hair doesn't grow from your ends, it grows from your scalp, okay? You want to use something like this that's formulated to your ends, okay? One that is very highly underrated, and this is to always oil your hair in sections. If you are used to oiling your hair in a certain way, you might skip over a section of your scalp all the time without even realizing it because it's just kind of the way you do it. But if you section your hair, you have a higher chance of hitting every single part of your hair, and whatever part that you maybe miss during the sectioning, you definitely tackle it during the scalp massage. So I love it when my hair is in braids like this because it's technically already sectioned and I'm just like going down all the lines. But when my hair is out, I just divide my hair into 4 sections and then I just part roughly. It doesn't have to be like clean lines or anything. You just want to make sure that you're sectioning out your hair and targeting the oil directly on your scalp. Now, even if you're putting oil on your hair shaft, if you're not doing it like only on the ends, you still may want to section your hair just so you target every single area that you want to. And if you have any problem areas like a little bald patch or on your scalp or something like that, you can ensure that you put a little extra oil just on that specific part instead of putting lots of oil all over and being like, yeah, it's gonna target all my little areas. If you section your hair, you will get way, way better results. The seventh tip is extremely important, and this is if you can only keep oil in your hair for a very short amount of time, I'm talking anywhere from like 10 to 40 minutes, go under heat and you will be amazed. It will work so much better and it will just absorb into your hair because heat is going to open your cuticles. Your scalp is going to be heated up and ready to just absorb anything that goes into it. And so when you go under heat, the oil will just really absorb into your hair really quickly and you can get the nourishment as fast as possible. The way I like to do it is to go under a plastic cap. You can use a plastic wrap as well. I go under a plastic cap and then I put on my microfiber towel. I go under heat a hair dryer. I'll go under that for like 20 minutes and then wash my hair out and then it will make a drastic difference. This will also work even if you have the time, but if you just don't like your hair feeling oily and you don't want to feel the oil on your hair, like when you go to bed, whether you're washing your hair the next morning, you only want to keep it in your hair for a short time, the going under heat trick works really, really well. Sometimes, even if I'm going to leave the oil in my hair and not wash it out the same day, I still go under heat just for like 20 minutes just to ensure the full nourishment of the oils is absorbed into my hair shaft. Also, if you don't have a hair dryer or any access to anything that can go under heat, still do the plastic cap method and the microfiber towel and leave it on, but you need a longer time for this, like maybe 2 hours. Just do whatever you need to do, walk around the house, eat your breakfast, and the heat from your scalp will just naturally kind of heat up the hair as well and help it absorb faster. This next tip goes back to oiling your hair too much or too little. I'm going to answer the question of how often should you actually oil your hair then if you shouldn't do it too much. Well, if you're going to leave it in your hair, I'm assuming you don't mind the feeling of oil in your hair, or you don't have an oily scalp and it doesn't bother you, or you don't have super fine hair. I would suggest you do this anywhere from once a week to 3 times a week. You use a very adequate amount, just a little bit on the sections in your scalp. Sectioning your hair will also ensure that you use less oil because you're just targeting it in the specific areas. So you can do that about 1 to 3 times a week. I usually do it about 3 times a week. When I'm busy or lazy, it's usually just like 1 time a week. I will oil my scalp, leave it in, and then just go ahead and wash my hair like regular on my wash day. If you want to do like a hot oil treatment or one of those treatments where you put more oil than usual on your entire hair shaft, for example, if I wanted to do an oil treatment like this for my actual hair shaft and I did like 4 pumps of this instead of like I usually do like one, like less than a full pump for all my ends. But if I section my hair into 4 and did like 1 to 2 pumps per section and put it all on the hair shaft, yes, my hair would experience benefits from it and I can go under heat and my hair will feel amazing. It's like a deep treatment for my hair. You should only do this. I would actually suggest the once every other week, so twice a month, because that's all you need. It's kind of like using a deep conditioner every single day. You want it to be effective, but only to a point. If you use too much oil, you're gonna have to shampoo your hair more often to get the oil off. It'll actually lead to dryness. So once a week or once every 2 weeks is actually good enough. You don't have to coat your hair in a bunch of oil all the time. If you want a detailed video on all the oils that I recommend for your scalp, for your hair shaft, how often to use them, where you can buy them, watch this video right here because it has all the detailed information for the best oils for all hair types. Also hit my face right here to subscribe if you didn't in the beginning. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!